So does the Tomb Raider collection work on the original Evercade? Let's find out. So obviously Tomb Raider Collection 1 does actually work on the original Evercade. We've actually had PlayStation games on Evercade since 2021, although arguably certainly none as big as these three games. These are probably the largest PlayStation games we've had today, and definitely perhaps the largest license on Evercade so far. But yeah, let's have a quick play through them. Obviously there's differences. We only have 2 shoulder buttons, and some of the buttons are mapped to all 4 of them, so there's some shortcuts that's been made. So let's play through them, and I'll go through the changes that are apparent for the original Evercade. Now, one bonus point about the original Evercade, there's not any long loading times that you will experience with the Evercade VS and the Evercade EXP. You won't find that on the Super Pocket or even the original Evercade, which is a bit weird. Apparently there are more security checks going on with the EXP and VS, but it's just it sounds absolute nonsense to me. The fact that it loads quicker is always a bonus. So certainly the one drawback with the original handheld is those viewing angles are pretty horrific. You really have to have the sort of handheld at a certain angle to see it properly. So that's the first thing, and obviously it's nowhere near as sharp. But that's not what the purpose of this video is. It's really just to go over Tomb Raider working on the original hardware, and obviously what are the changes to the 4 shoulder buttons. That's the main issue here. Okay, so obviously we only have the left and right shoulder buttons now. The left one is utilised for the camera, that's L1, and R1 is basically standing still and going a side step forward and back one at a time. So obviously if you want to sidestep left and right, you have to hold down both shoulder buttons and then press left and press right on the D-pad. Obviously on EXP and VS you would just hold the L2 and R2 button, or sorry, L2 for going left, R2 for going right. But if you want to go left, right, you have to hold down both shoulder buttons, press left or press right, and that is it. That is basically the main changes. But still plays great, and I definitely miss this kind of retro feel of the original Evercade. The EXP doesn't really have that retro feel that this original cheaper handheld does have. Now all the other buttons work exactly the same. It really is just the change of the shoulder buttons that's the main issue here, so you definitely need to keep that in mind when buying it. It's not a major issue, it doesn't cause any massive issues, and it shouldn't really stop your enjoyment of playing Tomb Raider if you only have the original Evercade. And now all hell's about to break loose. Not as hard as you might think. That's what she said. Now moving on to Tomb Raider 2, it is pretty similar to the first game. Really it's just a change of some of the shoulder buttons. Obviously graphically it's just maybe that little bit nicer on Tomb Raider 2. They're obviously trying to push things a little bit farther. But as I said before, the R1 button is for sort of stepping one step at a time forward, and the L button is still the camera. So if you hold down the both of them, it's still sidestepping as before in Tomb Raider 1. The big changes really are for Tomb Raider 3, where you've got the sprint button and the duck button. So let's have a look at Tomb Raider 3. Okay, let's have a look at Tomb Raider 3. So the R1 button is still the same, sort of single step at a time, and the L2 button, the L1 button is now the duck button. The only thing missing, I think, is activating a flare. I believe it's L2 to activate a flare on the EXP and VS or R2, but in this game you actually have to access that through the menu by pressing select and then going to your flares and then activating it that way. So there's no shortcut for that, but obviously there is the other one where you have to sprint. So you have to, I think you have to hold down, we'll find out. Yep, so if you hold down the R1 button, push forward slowly, then press the other shoulder button, L1, you will start to sprint. On the EXP and VS, it was just holding down the L2, no, the R2 button, but it's just a little bit different. You can't just hold the two buttons down at the same time and press forward. It doesn't seem to work like that. So the first thing you do is hold down the R1, push forward slightly, and then press L1, sorry, and you will sprint like a maniac. Obviously for crouching, it's still just L1 to do that. So pretty straightforward, it's no big deal, it doesn't break the game at all, still completely playable on the original Evercade. I didn't really come across any massive issues. It plays just as good on the original Evercade that it does on the VS and EXP. So if you're worried that it's not going to work or you maybe have to upgrade, then don't worry, because it works absolutely fine. There's no need to upgrade to the latest Evercades to play this game. Anyway guys, thanks very much for watching our video. We'll catch you again in the next one. Bye for now. That's better.